Good morning, welcome back to another video, and welcome back to the stunning Lincolnshire countryside once again. Now have a think to yourself, have you ever walked down the road, driven down the road and thought, wonder where that name comes from? Well, today's walk is all about the tragic tale of how Tom Otter's Lane came to be. So sit back, come and join me. And our story today starts and finishes in the village of Saxilby. And more specifically, Saxilby Bridge is the first part of our story, where in November 1805, two newlyweds, Thomas Temporal and Mary Kirkham, were seen crossing the bridge heading that way towards Drinsey Nook, which is where we're heading now. So cast your minds back, way back, 3rd of November 1805. Can you all remember what you was doing? Now for Tom and the pregnant Mary, they got married about 6 or 7 miles in that direction in North Hykeham. Now, the Bastardy Act of 1732 stated that a man could be put in jail if he wasn't able to provide for his illegitimate child. And the other alternative was to be forced into what they used to call back in the day a knobstick marriage, kind of modern day shotgun wedding, if you like. So for Mary, all seemed well. Married, pregnant, but our Tom had a little secret. He was actually married and using his mother's maiden name as an alias. His real name was Thomas Otter. Now our Tom, he was a bit of a rum lad to say the very least. He worked in and around the beautiful Lincolnshire countryside as a canal navvy. He was generally known a bit of a trouble causer, a bit of an hard nut, cruelty to animals, you name it. Our Thomas has done it. Right, so we've reached the fateful point now. This road, Tom Otter's Lane. So Tom and Mary was heading to Drinsey Nook, which is just maybe half a mile in that direction there. But it was somewhere along this lane that Tom took the decision to sort out his little inconvenience of his new wife and unborn baby. So in a ditch, probably somewhere on the other side of the road where we're stood, the body of poor Mary was found the morning after, with a newspaper report of the day stating the body of a woman was found, a head being beaten to a pulp and a large head stake and 2 bundles of clothes lying near her. And poor Mary's body was taken to the Sun Inn pub back in Saxilby, which we'll head back to conclude our little story. Now a few hours after Mary's body was found, Tom was found drinking at the Packhorse pub in Lincoln, and he was quickly arrested. Then at the subsequent trial in Lincoln, Tom was found guilty of murder and sentenced to hanging. He was hung on the 14th of March 1806 at Westgate Gallows in Lincoln, and his body was due to be dissected because no murderers were allowed to be buried, such was the seriousness of the crime. But a last minute change of heart meant that his body was to be gibbeted. Now, gibbeting was the act of hanging a dead person in an iron cage on public display. So not only was our Tom executed for the crime of murder, but he was classed as being so severe that a post-death punishment was also given. roughly looking at an 1824 OS map, the gibbet was placed near to the scene of the murder, which was somewhere around this area, about halfway along Tom Otter's Lane. Now the gibbeting was to act as a kind of deterrent to the general public, such was the severity of his crime. But it actually became a bit of a tourist attraction, with people coming to see his dead body hanging by the side of the road. And there was even reports of birds nesting in Tom's mouth, which led to the rhyme, there were 10 tongues in one head, the 10th went out to fetch some bread to feed the living in the dead. That sounds pretty damn gruesome, that, doesn't it? The old gibbeting thing. But that's how it was back in the day, I suppose. They didn't muck about. So not only have we got a road named after Tom, but the actual gibbeting. This little area of woodland here is Gibbet Wood, and just past the trees there's Gibbet Wood Farm. And Tom was actually the last person in Lincolnshire to be gibbeted, and his body lasted till about 1850, when the cage blew down in a storm. And I think you can actually see parts of the gibbet now. I think the Lincoln Castle, as we speak. I know there used to be at Doddington Hall, which is about 3 or 4 miles down the road, but I'm pretty sure they're on display in Lincoln Castle. I could be wrong, don't quote me on that. Alright, so to finish our short walk around beautiful Lincolnshire, and to conclude the story of Tom and Mary, was heading back into Saxilby to the Sun Inn pub, which unfortunately isn't open because it's quite early in the morning. But that's where our little story concludes. So I shall see you back outside the pub in Saxilby. Right, so we're back in the beautiful little village of Saxilby, alongside the Fosdyke Canal, and directly opposite the Sun Inn. And this is where our little story finishes. And the Sun Inn played quite a significant part in the story of Mary and Tom. As I said before, it's where Mary's body was taken once she was found. It's where the inquest was held, or more than likely held, into her death. And she's actually buried with a child in an unmarked grave in St Botolph's Church, which is about half a mile that way. So it's often the case with tales like this. The Sun Inn pubs had lots of spooky goings on since the murder. Bloodstains on the doorstep, which are said to be permanent. Others say they can hear a cry of a newborn baby in the room where Mary's body was placed after she was brought back there. Even the murder weapon was said to reappear at the scene of the murder, because it was taken back to the pub. And it's said to move and reappear at the scene of the murder. And of course, the spirit of Tom Otter is said to haunt the pub on occasion as well. So that concludes our little circular walk of Saxilby, taking in Tom Otter's Lane and the story of Tom Otter and his wife Mary, an unborn child, let's not forget. So next time you're driving down Tom Otter's Lane, if you're in this part of the world, spare a thought for poor Mary and her unborn baby, and the gruesome story of how Tom Otter's Lane came to be. But for now, I'm going to sit along this beautiful sunny, crisp, now spring, first day of spring morning, alongside the canal. I'm going to finish my coffee, and I'm going to see what the rest of the day brings. So thank you for watching, and I shall see you very soon.